Hey guys, so for day 19 of Halloween nail designs, I am recreating another set that I did a couple years ago. I did this the first time I did uh, a different Halloween set every day, and I really liked this set and I really wanted to recreate it to see if I can make it just a little bit better. So I'm doing like a witchy set. I don't think I mentioned that. It's not like your typical witch set with like the witch's hat and the cauldron and all of that. Like it's more of a realistic type of witch set, I guess. You know, with like tarot and astrology and crystals and stuff, like that kind of witch. So to start off, I'm just taking Reality Check from Madam Glam, Out of This World from Ball Pit. Both are jelly colors, and then just some base coat because I'm gonna do like this marble kind of look, and I really wanted to do this with jelly colors. I can't exactly remember how I did it the last time. Um, I was looking back at the pictures, and I'm pretty sure it was jelly colors too, or at least the purple was jelly. I don't know. I don't fully remember, and I also didn't go back to like watch the video or anything. I was just looking at the picture and um, just went about it how I would any other kind of nail set that I would be using for inspo without knowing like what was used or how they did it. So I just blobbed on those three polishes, and then I'm taking this ombre brush and just kind of like tapping it on the nail to kind of blend the colors a little bit, or like I guess yeah, blend them, or like kind of mush them together a little bit, um, just so it wasn't like a stark line between the three different colors and they kind of flowed a little bit better, which is super easy with jelly colors. And realistically, I didn't really have to do that. I could have just put the colors on and it would have been fine because jelly colors, and then with that one just being a clear, it is very easy to blend them together, and like you can just put them next to each other and they like work fine. Also, with them all being wet, like they kind of blend into each other on their own, like kind of like a blooming gel, how it like spreads, you know, when the wet polishes touch each other, they kind of like spread into each other a little bit. So I just kind of smushed them on, and then yeah, took that ombre brush just to like swirl them around together a little bit, to just because I felt like it made it look better, to kind of have them swirled together a little bit, blended a little better. And then for some of them, I did have a little bit too much polish on them, so I did have to wipe off the edges of the nail with a lint-free wipe to remove some of that buildup. But some of them I didn't have that issue. And then once I got all of the nails done, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then for the little like flaky glittery part of the nail, I just took one of these jars of like chameleon flakes that I have from Laza. I got them off of Amazon. I used them in my Opal Ghost video. Um, I forget which ones these are. I can't remember. I think these are the Starry Night one, maybe. Or they might be the mermaid ones. Honestly, I don't know. um, I think they might be the mermaid ones, actually, because I think the Starry Night ones have, like, in the jar they look like they're yellow. Anyhow, I just took that and I pressed them into the sticky layer of the polish, and I just put them on the clear part. I do remember in the original video, I took those flakes, the flakes that I used the first time I did the opal nails, those like stiffer flakes. I used those and I mixed them in with the clear polish, uh, and then did the same technique of like smushing the colors on, and I already had the flakes already mixed in to the base coat, but because I had these flakes this time around, I wanted to use these instead of those other ones because they just sit a lot nicer and they're easier to use. So like I said, I just took them and I smushed them onto the areas where it was mostly clear. I think I did get some flakes on, some purple parts or some black parts. It really didn't matter, but I was trying to mainly focus putting them on the clear parts of the nail. And then after I got those on, I just went in and did another layer of the gel polish, so the purple, black, and the clear. Just going over it to deepen those colors a little bit. If you wanted to, you could do the 2 layers beforehand and then add the flakes on top of everything. But I thought it would kind of add some like depth to the nail a little bit if I sandwich those flakes in between. If you remember, way back when there was this design called jelly sandwich, which was just taking jelly polishes and then you paint 1 layer of it and then you'll put like glitter on top of that layer and then layer more gel polish on top, or that jelly gel polish on top, and you keep doing that until you get the effect you want. Or even sometimes people would like put the jelly gel polish, do some sort of design with like a white gel or a white nail polish, because this was all done with regular air dried nail polish then and not gel polish. So they did like hearts or stars or something like that on that first base, and then they applied another layer of the jelly polish and then did the design again, and they did that until they got their desired layered effect. And I remember it was called jelly sandwich, which was weird but also made sense. So that's basically what I was doing here, was doing like a jelly sandwich thing. So jelly polish, then the flakes, then more jelly polish. But like I said, you can do like your 2 layers of jelly polish and then put the flakes on top if you want. Sometimes there is a little bit of fallout with these flakes, I've noticed, like if they're not fully stuck into the sticky layer of whatever you're putting them on. So occasionally I would have to wipe the brush off on a lint-free wipe to get that off, but for the most part it wasn't an issue as long as it was stuck into that sticky layer. But like if you kind of layered it on, and there's like flakes on top of flakes, or like, I don't know, some part wasn't sticky enough or something, like, then that's when it would happen. But like I said, for the most part they stick really well and you don't really have too much fallout. And just did the same thing again, adding on those colors and then kind of blending them together a little bit. You can see the bristles on my brush kind of clumping together because of all the buildup of the polish, so I would wipe that off every now and then to remove that buildup so I wasn't adding more polish on to the nail. I was just mixing around whatever polish was already on the nail. And again, if I added a little bit too much polish onto the nail, I would take a lint-free wipe and just wipe down the edges of the nails to remove some of that kind of like built up on the edges. And then I did cure for 60 seconds once I was done doing all of this. And I really like these flakes that I bought. I mentioned in the Opal Ghost video how someone commented on one of my TikToks suggesting these flakes, and I'm so happy they saw that TikTok and commented about these flakes, because I absolutely love these flakes, and like they sit so much better on the nail. Like they sit completely flat. You don't have to worry about like encapsulating them or anything. You can easily top coat right over them, or what I'm doing here, apply a gel polish on top, and there's no needing, like, you don't need to file them down or anything. You don't have to worry about them sticking up through the polish or anything. They're really great, and I really love the colors that I got, especially this one. I'm pretty sure this is the mermaid one. Like, it looks like it would be the mermaid one, just because it has like that blue sheen to it, and the colors are just super pretty, and they're super shiny and give such a really pretty effect. There's a bunch of different ones on Amazon. I bought 3 of them. I bought the Starry Night, Monet Garden, and Mermaid something. But I definitely want to buy like all the rest of them that they have, because they're so pretty, and like there's so many different ways you could use these flakes. And just looking at this set right here and seeing this blue reflect on them, I'm like, I really want to make an ocean kind of set with them, because that would look so pretty with this, to be like the sparkliness of the water or whatever. So these will probably get pulled back out again in the summer, so I can do like a ocean set or mermaid set or something, because they're so pretty. You guys are probably gonna get sick of me using them, because I want to use them for a whole bunch of different things. Like, I have so many ideas on what I could use them for, and like I want to test out. I just want to test them out and see like how they will look with different color combinations, and like layered on different colors and everything. Because they're just so much fun, and I really love them. I don't know, I'm kind of on a kick right now of using chrome, and I feel like I'm about to be on a kick of using these flakes, because I really, really like these flakes. And cat eye, but cat eye is super popular right now, so everyone's kind of on a cat eye kick. But like chrome, I've been using a lot of chrome lately. Speaking of chrome, I am using chrome. I wanted a rose gold chrome, which I don't have. So I decided to test out and see if I could mix chromes together to get a color that I needed. So I took a gold chrome and a pink chrome. It's like a lighter pink chrome. It is kind of more like rose goldy, I feel like, but it wasn't the right shade that I needed, because I was trying to color match them to those little like metal nail art things, like I don't know what they're called, but they're like metal and thin and flimsy, and you can like bend them or like put them in aquarium nails and whatever. But I was trying to color match to those, because I wanted to use those on this set. But like I said, I didn't have a chrome that matched those, so I had to try and make my own, or like see if I could make my own. Otherwise, I was just going to have to do gold. And I did the gold last time, and I liked it. It looked good. It went well with the purple and the black and everything. But when I saw that I had these rose gold charms, I was like, ooh, I really want to use those instead of gold. So yeah, I just took some of the gold chrome powder, some of the pink chrome powder, mixed them together. I like chopped them up and like swirled them around and everything. And then I tested it out on a tester nail. I just did it on a clear nail so I could like see the actual color of it. And this first go around was still a little too gold. It was more, less gold, a little more like a, it was rose gold, but it wasn't rose enough for me. So I did add some more of the pink in there and just did the same thing. I kind of just like chopped it up and then like mixed it together and like chopped it up. Just did that a whole bunch of times until I felt like it was fully incorporated. And then yeah, once I felt like it was all mixed up together, I did test it out to see what the color looked like, and this worked really well. So if you don't have a color of chrome that you really want or want to use, you could try mixing chromes and get a color that you want, because it actually works. I wasn't sure if they were going to like actually mix and make a new color, or if it was going to be like how if you mix glitters together, it doesn't necessarily make a new color. It's just you see those two colors of glitters together, they don't fully mix because they're like two pieces of plastic just sitting together in a thing, so they're not like combining together. So I didn't know how this was going to work, but it worked out really well. They actually mixed together very well and created a whole new color. And after I added that second amount of pink, it ended up being exactly what I was looking for. So I was super happy. Definitely more on the pinky side, but not as pink as just the pink on its own. You definitely get those gold like tones in there as well, and it matched really well with these little charms here that I said I was going to use. So now I'm just taking the Ball Pit anti-chrome matte top coat and applying this to the nails. I applied this to all of the nails, and I didn't need to apply it to the pinky or the thumb, but I low-key wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, oh, I gotta add this onto the nails, and just went down the line and added it to all of the nails. So anyhow, applied that and then cured that for 60 seconds. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this top coat if you're doing isolated chrome designs. It works so well, and you don't have to buff or anything. You just apply this, cure it, and then go in with your design, add your chrome, dust it off, and it doesn't stick to the background, and it is great. So if you're struggling with isolated chrome designs and the chrome sticking to the background, definitely get this Ball Pit Anti Chrome Matte Top Coat because it works so well. I always want to say Anti Matte Top Coat for some reason. So when I'm saying it, I always have to pause and think like, yeah, I gotta say chrome, anti-chrome, and not anti-matte. I don't know what my deal is when trying to say the name of this top coat, but I struggle for some reason. And now to do the chrome designs, I'm using the Emo Black Liner Gel. I always use this whenever I do isolated chrome designs. It just works really well, and it like holds on to the chrome really well. So that's why I always use it, but you can use whatever you use for your chrome designs. So I just paint on my little design, and then I'll cure it for 15 seconds, rub the chrome on, and then I do put it back in the lamp to cure for the full 60 seconds because I am only partially curing it in order to get the chrome to stick. And like I always say, and pretty much everyone always says, you don't want partially cured chrome, partially cured gel on your nail, because that's how you end up with acrylate allergies, because it does like leach and everything and gets on your skin and blah blah blah. So if you're only partially curing the gel, if you're only partially curing the gel to get the chrome to stick to it, you do have to put it back in the lamp and cure for the full 60 to make sure that it is fully cured. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. For this nail here, I was doing a pentacle, or what a lot of people call a pentagram. It's not a pentagram. Pentagrams and pentacles are two different things. A quick Google search will tell you that. So it's just a circle with the star in the middle of it. I started out with the circle and then did the star. And for this set, I went through and painted all of my designs first and then cured each nail individually. Most of the time I will like do the design, cure, and then do the chrome like all at once. But lately I've been laying down a paper towel whenever I do chrome, so any chrome fallout will go on that paper towel and I don't have to wipe down my silicone mat 15 times to get chrome off of it. It's just easier cleanup. So I waited to do the chrome until after I had everything painted. So yeah, just going in, doing this little pentacle here. I feel like there was something I was gonna say, but I can't remember. It was something about the last time I did this set compared to now. And now I can't remember what I was going to say. Anyhow, I'll be back whenever I need to be back, I guess, since I can't remember what I was going to say. And then for this nail here, I think this is the moon one. It has like the full moon and then the like crescent moons on either side of it. Yeah, that's this one. I think this symbol is like goddess or something. I remember when I did that first set, I did some pretty extensive research on like witch symbols and like what they mean and everything. I like went into detail about what each symbol means in that first video, if you want to know, or if you're curious, or you can just look up witch symbols yourself if you're interested in that. Yeah, I think this one was goddess, and I remember thinking, because usually you see it where it's the circle here in the middle, but then the crescent moons are on the left and right side, but I can't really do that on a nail, so I did them on the top and bottom. And I remember I was like, I don't know if that means the same thing when it's like this or not. And I tried looking it up and like nothing was coming up. And like I tried looking at how other people have drawn or like painted or done this symbol before, and like on nails, when people do this symbol on nails, they do it this way. So I'm like, I don't know, I hope it still is right being this way, and I still am like, I hope it's right being this way. I hope it still means the same thing, and I don't know. I don't want to like, offend anyone who is into the whole witchcraft thing. I know a little bit of stuff, even prior to like researching these symbols. I knew a little bit of stuff. And then after researching these symbols, I know a little bit more stuff, but yeah, I definitely don't know a whole lot. Um, so yeah, I'm still kind of like, I'm not 100% sure if this still means goddess being this way. At least I think I'm pretty sure this is the goddess symbol. So I'm hoping it still means the same thing, being vertical instead of being horizontal. Yeah. I also remember, like, when I uploaded that first set, I was actually kind of worried about doing it because, I know there are a lot of people who are into witchcraft like that, and, like, it's like a whole thing, and there's all these different meanings and symbolism, and, like, there's things you should and shouldn't do, and I'm like, I was a little scared. Like I said, I did some extensive research, and, like, I even looked up, like, is it okay to, like, paint this kind of thing, or, like, put this on some nails and, like, draw, and, like, what symbols are okay to draw, and, like, which ones are not okay to draw, because I'm not trying to curse myself or anything like that. So I tried to do some safe symbols, and then this one is an eye, which this wasn't a symbol that, like, I really saw, like this particular one that I painted, but I was seeing lots of eye symbols, and it was like protection, like eyes are protection symbols and stuff like that. I kind of, like, added some little extra elements to it to kind of spice it up a little bit and have it, not fit in, but, like, take up more space on the nail instead of just being, like, this single eye. So I did do some little fancy doodads on it. I call them fancy, but they're just, like, little lines, drops. I don't know what you want to call them. On there, but I don't know. I feel like adding little details like that is just fancy. But yeah, just did this eye, and then after I did this eye, I went through and I cured the nails for 15 seconds and then rubbed the chrome on. I did cure them individually. I always do that whenever I do chrome. I always cure individually to do chrome because it just works out better for me, because for some reason by the time, like, if I cure all of them all together, I do the first one and it works out fine. I do the second one and it's okay, and then I get to the third one and it's not working as well, and then I get to the fourth one and it's really not working anymore, and then I get to the fifth one and it's just not sticking anymore, if I'm doing chrome on all 5 of the nails. So that's why I always do, like, individual nails. I know a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people where they will do their design on all five of the nails, or however many nails they're doing the chrome on, cure them all together, and then go through and do the chrome, and it works out great for them. But I don't know, for some reason, for me, I do that, and by the time I get to the last one, the chrome doesn't stick anymore. So like I said, went in, cured this one for 15 seconds, rubbed that chrome on, and I really go in and I, like, scrub the chrome in, because I'm trying to, like, get rid of all the excess that may be, like, still loose on there. And then I'll take a fan brush and just dust off any extra. I have been seeing a lot of people using, like, the clean side of a sponge or a clean sponge to remove any of the excess. I have tried that on a few nails and it works well. I don't know. I just prefer using I don't know necessarily know that I prefer using the fan brush. I just use the fan brush because that's always how I've done it. So, uh, what is it? Creature of habit or something like that. So after getting those on, I'm just going in and I'm going to apply the little charm dealy things there to the nail. I'm using that McCart rhinestone glue. I don't really know how I feel about this rhinestone glue, honestly. It's very thick, which I feel like is good because then it holds your charms and stuff on the nail and they don't go sliding all over as you're putting them on. But it also doesn't level out very well, and when I go in to apply my top coat like I am here, I have to apply a lot of pressure to try and get it to level out and not see those streaks, and even then you can still see like the brush strokes on the nail, which is really annoying. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that rhinestone glue. Here I am. I was just trying to bend the little charm thing with my fingers, which it was working, but I wasn't bending it quite right to actually like fit on the nail and sit flush to the nail instead of sticking out. So I pulled out my little charm bendy tool thingy, and even then when I put it on, it still didn't bend it to fit on the nail very well. It was still sticking up, but I still put the charms on and they still stuck up. Now I'm just going in with the Jinbei Crazy Top in standard and applying that to all of the nails. I like to use this whenever I do chrome because I use a separate brush that I can clean off. I don't worry about if any chrome particles get into it because it just sinks all down to the bottom. I don't know if you can see that there on the screen, but there is little chrome and glitter pieces sunk down to the bottom, so I don't worry about all of that if any of the chrome gets into it because like I said, it sinks to the bottom and I can clean off this brush easy. I don't have to worry about wiping it off all the time or worry about contaminating the polish or anything. Otherwise I will use a completely separate top coat that I have dedicated specifically for chrome and glitters. And I go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. I also applied this on top of... No, I didn't. I lied. I used the LGN top coat because it is thicker than that Jinbei one. To try and seal in those little charm things. To try and like... hopefully maybe make it so it wasn't like they were sticking up so much, but they were sticking up pretty bad, especially the moons. The stars weren't that bad, but the moons were sticking up so much and it was irritating me, and no matter how much I bent them, they still just did not sit the way that they were supposed to sit on the nail. Even after I curved them, which was so irritating, and it bothered me so much that I ended up throwing those two nails away and then redoing them, but with chrome instead. So I just painted the moon and stars on, same way that I did those three middle nails with the emo black liner gel, and then rubbed the chrome on top because those charms were not working for some reason. They worked really well the first time that I did it, but this second time, I don't know what was going on. I wonder, I might have encapsulated them on that first set. That might have been what I did. I don't remember. But anyhow, this is the finished result with the charms. And it came out really cute. The charms look really cute on the set, and I really like how they look with the set all together. I just don't like how they stick up so much off the nail. If they didn't stick up so much, or if I would have encapsulated them, it would be a lot better and I would like them a lot more. But like I said, here it is. I painted on instead of with the charms. I do think I like the charms better than it painted on. But if you didn't have the charms, then here's what you can do. You can paint them on. They look great either way. I really love this set. I love it more this time around because I love the rose gold more than the gold. I am not a gold person at all. I do not like gold at all. I'm not really a huge fan of rose gold, but I do like it more than gold. And I just feel like the rose gold fits a lot better than the gold for this set. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.